Welcome back to the Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Ren. I got a video today from SMS Clips. It's a strong, successful male. This is his clip channel. His regular content is a little too long, so I've never really featured him. But he did a really good short version of women can't seem to find men in single events, and we aren't attending anymore. So I wonder why. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
So here's an update to the very popular video I covered yesterday, which covered the Reddit post, "Where are all the men at planned events?" And guys, as a recap, that's all about the gal who posted online, who's been going to all these singles events, if you will, pub crawls, gatherings at coffee houses, stuff like that. And she and her other girlfriends are just puzzled. Where are all the men? Men aren't attending these things when in the past, including speed dating, there'd be plenty of guys. There'd be a sausage fest. And I responded to that guys, of course, as many of you know, are walking away.
Yep.
That men can only be treated like second-class citizens for so long, combined with how your average, not all, but average gal in today's modern dating scene, the way they behave. The way they behave online, displaying themselves in ways that are no guy would want as a girlfriend or wife.
True.
High body counts, the insanely psychotic pickiness that so many gals have nowadays, that only a few percentage of the male population is good enough for them. So eventually guys are like, combine all that, I'm not interested. And it's no wonder you're not going to have guys showing up at these things. They're out hanging out with their bros, doing what they like, and that is the reality today. Now, I'm now covering the comments. I mentioned yesterday about the comments section are pretty entertaining. I'm covering both the female point of view and the male point of view. The men are responding in kind, as you can imagine, and the women are either still puzzled as to why guys aren't around anymore, or they're crapping on us because, God forbid, we're walking away. That'd be a pretty funny one to go over here real quick. So the first comment, and this is from a woman, she says here, "I'm just going to put this here and see what happens. As a self-proclaimed, but confirmed from others, eligible bachelorette of 36 years of age."
The self-proclaimed stuff is kind of interesting, but confirmed by others. Who are these others you speak of? Other women? Because those aren't the opinions you want to claim yourself as an eligible bachelorette.
Of age, 36.
Woo!
It is my deduction that
That's
men
eligible.
are either A, at home relaxing, B, at buddies' houses relaxing, C, at the gym or other kind or active thing, or D, anywhere other than an event which could intentionally help them meet a woman with whom to form a real relationship with. So you heard her giving some responses, but then using the insult at the end.
Yeah.
Doing anything except meeting a woman they can have a real relationship with. Well, again, given how things are nowadays, these guys have learned what's the point.
Yep.
And it's interesting, she's 36 and still single. Now this one's from a guy. He says, "Maybe because of bad experiences in the past, I've seen posts of women complaining about guys hitting on them because they're just there to enjoy the event, nothing else. And it's quickly considered creepy now."
Yeah, there are women that go to these single events just to enjoy the event. The purpose of the event is to not be single anymore. At least I would assume from the title, singles events. You know, like these are all single people trying to get to know people, so they're not single anymore. But if you're there to just enjoy the event, like you ruin what the event is made for. So get the fuck out of here.
If you approach a woman who isn't interested, so most men don't want to deal with that. Yes, it's pretty much if a guy approaches you and talks to you, if she finds him attractive, then he's being confident. If she doesn't find him attractive, then he's being a creep.
Yep.
And she's uncomfortable, and there could be a scene and all that. And many guys are well aware of that. So they're like, why would I bother? This one's from a woman. She says, "I'm a woman in my 30s and have been to meetup.com events in London. I feel the caliber of decent people has decreased post-lockdown. The meetups have become more business, money-oriented. Additionally,
Really?
in line with some of the other posts, there have been many men attending events lacking in social skills and physical boundaries. It sucks being single in your 30s. So she's a woman that says she does these things. Things have changed.
It's always a woman in their 30s that always leave the comments.
And the guys that go to these things, she's complaining about. Now, let's be honest. If you're a guy that's very successful with women, you're in the top percentage, and guys know if they are, they're not going to these things.
No.
So the other types of guys that I'm still saying good-looking guys that have things going on for them, but they're not the top 5%. And of course, they're rejected and again labeled as no social skills, crossing physical boundaries, whatever. See? This one's from a guy. He says, men get told they're creeps for approaching women all the time. Why would they go to events like that?
Correct.
Right there. He says, I'll tell you a secret. This feeling you're having now is what 80% of men feel since their teenage years. By the time those men are 30, they've accepted they're invisible and don't care at all. Women in their 30s and 40s find it hard to accept because they remember it was not the case 10 years ago. But you either accept it or keep dreaming of a time that will never come back. Yeah. Guys,
It's called
our prime
the
really
wall.
begins in our 30s on multiple fronts. And I've discussed this in the other channels. But for women, their prime begins a second, well, let's be honest, when puberty hits and if they're good looking. But they have a hard time accepting they're not going to be as desirable in their 30s and 40s when their physical prime is past. And now they get to know what it's like to be the guys. Let's see here. Another one. This is from a woman. She says, thank you for validating my feelings. Big relief. I've been seeing this for years in my country, and I've always said these observations to my parents when they ask why I'm single and that I should go out to events and sign up for activities. They refuse to believe me, saying women everywhere are getting married. How? Maybe through family and friends or friends of friends. And it's also awkward to ask these people to set you up. If they wanted to, they would have done so already.
Correct.
Years have passed, and it seems every person is responsible to set themselves up, and no one cares to help in this area, and it's very uncomfortable to navigate through as a woman, and as someone who likes things traditional, where the gentleman pursues a lady, not the other way around. Well, thanks to feminism, conditioning women to behave like men, and men to behave like women, this is the reality you have today. And guess what? When men are pushed too far, and treated like second-class citizens, and you all know the whole thing I'm saying here. Men are walking away, and then the women have to pursue them.
Yep.
By this point, they're done. This is
Even if they pursued the passport bros and MGTOW guys, they are really done. From what I can tell from the comments, from what I can tell from my content, we don't care.
from a guy. This guy says here, attractive men don't have to go to the events to meet women. They have their pick and can stay at home and swipe or meet them in person. Average men stand no chance, so they stay home too. There you go. Why would a guy who actually takes care of himself physically, goes to the gym, eats healthy, dresses well, has things going for himself, good personality, good job, and still he's rejected most of the time because he's still not good enough for the giant laundry list that these modern gals have. Even that guy, why would he keep subjecting himself to this bullshit? Another one, this is a woman. She says here, it doesn't help, but I think about this a lot. I met my boyfriend on Tinder. In the 5 months I've known him, he's only been able to not meet me maybe 3 times. And it was all relating to volunteering stuff. To my best of knowledge, literally the rest of the time, he's at home. How in the hell would I ever met him otherwise? How would he met anyone? My book clubs are always mostly women. When I did pole, that was mostly women.
Why would men go to pole dancing class unless they're playing for the same side? It's just the hell?
Pole. Remember when the pole classes were the fad that was going on a few years ago? Basically pole dancing. This says a lot about her. And my other hobbies are kind of alone hobbies. Jigsaw, gaming, and gym. It was hard to find guys, LOL. They were always hiding. Well, men aren't hiding, they're just doing their own thing. This one's from a guy. He says here, we are all hiding. No point to showing up since we all get his games and thirsty attention. I'll start over. He says, we are all hiding. No point to showing up since all we get is games and 30 attention hungry women. Some of us actually want something, not just this crap that is out there today. We have learned to do our own thing. Yeah. The crap out there today, the quality that is out there today. This one's from a woman. She says, I think there's a lot of factors at play. Women prioritize social connections, and in my opinion, they work much harder to create them when they don't exist.
This is 100%.
A lot of guys I know became kind of isolated in their 30s because their old friends aren't free as much anymore, but they don't try to generate new connections.
This is true.
Not to say this is universally true for men, but I've noticed there's a lot of huge local social groups on Facebook for women, and there's no male equivalent. Well, it is true that generally women are much more sociable and into bonding and connecting and all of them guys, fair enough. But still, in regards to these settings where in the past, women would meet men and, singles would get together, meet, potential date would come out of that. Guys aren't attending them for a reason, because it isn't just because we're in our 30s and we don't have the same friends we used to have, so we're just going to be alone. No, there's a reason we're staying away from those types of things.
Yep.
And one more, this is from another woman.
There's very few quality friends out there. It's very hard for even, like I said, I am very fortunate. I have 4 friends. 4 solid, friends. I used to have a shitload when I was younger. They all dropped off, or I cut them off, or, it's just, we don't live the same kind of life, or we're not in the same mentality, or whatever it is. So sometimes it's just not worth your time. I could totally understand why a lot of men don't build connections anymore. It is very hard to build connections in your 30s. I don't really have any new friends. Oh, I made a new friend that we're doing business together, but that's because we're doing business together too. So,
woman, she says here, I've heard this one before. A good friend of mine went to a speed dating event. Not a single man turned up at it.
Damn.
It was just a bunch of women standing around talking to each other. I think it's become a case of fear. Men just don't want to be around women anymore for fear, saying something that triggers one and sets off a chain reaction. What that thing would be, I don't know. You mean a speed dating event where people are supposed to meet and talk to each other? Even the guys aren't going to that because A, rejection, but also them talking to them, it could be perceived as being creepy. That's what's going on here. It says here, but is positive it is there. My work had its usual Christmas time party, but this year there were 2. One was all women, and the other was all men.
That's trippy.
The men didn't want to go out to socialize with the women because of a perceived possibility of an HR-worthy incident occurring.
Yep.
It never has. But the HR department has everyone scared about equality to the level that men avoid the women as that's the safest course of action. Society appears to be bringing around a segregation in the sexes that's growing and growing fast. So right there about the workplace. Christmas party where the guys went to, Christmas party where the women went to. Sounds kind of crazy, but I can't say I'm surprised. And you guys have heard the articles I've gone over on my other channel years ago about men avoiding the gals in the workplace because potentially issues coming up, and
men lose their jobs over this shit. And there's plenty of evidence saying that a lot of these women are just, accusing these men of things, and they lose their jobs before it's even proven or anything. And there's even a book out there that it's made to destroy men of power, and women can use this playbook very, very easily, and it will destroy men. So men just don't even have meetings with women by themselves anymore. I know a lot of men don't even train personally with females and women anymore because there's those issues. They'll train men, but they won't train women. And women are just losing out on opportunities and experience through this because of this whole Me Too movement.
Them causing them problems, threatening their jobs. Now, there were a lot of guys that were in the past, and it still happens today, that are cross the line big time.
This is true.
In the workplace and things they say and do to the women. I understand that. But still, your average guy potentially could jeopardize his career if he pisses off the wrong gal, or she just has a bad day and wants to make his life a living hell. Mm-hmm. And this is why a lot of guys are avoiding women in the workplace, or unless they're in a room where people can see them, there's witnesses, blah, blah, blah. But anyhow, this goes on and on. So how can this change? Well, it's going to take a whole lot of work. But for the foreseeable future, guys are stepping away. They realize, again, why bother? Or, even if I had opportunity, the quality of the gals that are out there. Not all, but a majority, particularly the young ones, 20s and 30s, and how they behave. Why would I bother? Why waste my time, my energy, my money when I could be doing things I enjoy, hobbies, hanging out with my friends, people have my back, no drama, no bullshit. So it'll be very interesting to see how things play out. But you're going to see more and more articles and posts like this pop up. Mark my words.
Whew, that was some good chow, give him some support. This is his clips channel. He has a long form channel also. It's called Strong Successful Male. He's one of my favorite creators out there. He's pretty red-pilled, non-red-pilled, manosphere kind of guy. Just tells it as it is through his experience. He's pretty successful in what he does, and I don't do too much. I never really wanted to do much of his content because it's just usually him like sitting in the car, talking, which I somewhat enjoy most of the time, and most of you guys seem to enjoy the clips. So, but he always gives great advice. He always smacks people when they need to get smacked, and there's plenty of people needing to get smacked. So please subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. It's chow time.